Parviz Ravi, attorney at law, have been practicing for over 20 years. Our office is located by San Francisco Airport, specializing in employment law. Today's topic, California employees' constitutional rights in the workplace. In California, workers are protected by labor laws. It doesn't matter where you were born or what your legal status is, or whether you are legally in the United States. In fact, it is against the law for your employer to threaten you because of your immigration status. Once you are hired, you have rights. Under California law, you have a right to fair pay and benefits. Your employer is required to pay you what you are owed and provide you with adequate and timely rest and meal breaks. Not doing so is called wage theft. This means that your employer must pay you at least the minimum wage. Your employer must pay you overtime equal to 1.5 times and double times your regular rate of pay when you work over a certain number of hours. Your employer must provide you with a 10-minute break, rest breaks, for every 4 hours of work. Your employer must provide you with a meal break of at least 30 minutes after no more than 5 hours of work. Your employer must pay you, with certain limited exceptions, at least twice a month on a designated regular paydays. And with each payment of wages, whether by cash or check, your employer must provide a wage stub or a statement with the following information: pay period date, gross wages earned, total hours worked, breakdown of hourly rates and hours worked at each rate, piece rate information if applicable, all deductions, net wages, name and ID number of the employee, and legal name and address of the employer. You also have a right to a safe workplace. Your employer is required to keep you safe at work and to help prevent injuries on the job. What this means is that your employer must take the step at the workplace to make sure it's safe by identifying health and safety hazards and correcting them. Your employer must have a written health and safety plan. This is sometimes called an injury and illness prevention program. Your employer must tell you about workplace hazards and train you how to work safely. The training must be presented in a way that you understand it. Your employer must have workers' compensation insurance and pay for the medical care for work-related injuries and illnesses. Your employer must keep track of all workplace injuries and illnesses that require more treatment than first aid. Certain employers must keep a log of injuries and illnesses and post a summary from February to April. Your employer must post the Cal OSHA poster, safety and health protection, on the job in a place where everyone can see. Your employer must call Cal OSHA right away when an employee is seriously injured or killed on the job. If your employer breaks the law and does not fulfill his obligation to keep your workplace safe, you then have the right to report the problems and any safety concerns you have to your employer and as a government agency as well, Cal OSHA, to get those problems fixed, and your employer cannot retaliate against you for doing so. It is illegal for your employer to fire you or discriminate against you at work for making a good faith complaint about an unhealthy or unsafe condition. You also have a right to a healthy workplace environment free of discrimination and harassment of all types. California laws forbid discrimination and harassment at the workplace, and it is illegal for your employer to discriminate against you based on age, race, sex, gender, gender identity, gender expression, religion, national origin, medical condition, disability, or military and veteran status. In California, you also have a right to benefits if you're injured or unemployed. If you're injured on the job, the employer must pay for medical care for injuries and illnesses related to the work. You may also get weekly payments. This is called workers' compensation. It does not matter who was at fault for the injury. In most cases, you can get benefits even if you are a temporary or part-time worker. You have a right to workers' compensation regardless of your immigration status. Your employer must give you a claim form within 1 working day after hearing about your injury. Along with this form, your employer must give you notice of your rights when claiming workers' compensation benefits. If your employer refuses to give you a claim form or threatens or discriminates against you because you're injured or made a job injury claim, you may take legal action. You have the right to tell your employer about your rights as an employee. You also have the right to complain or file a claim with the state or a lawsuit with the court if you think your employer is violating those rights. Your immigration status does not matter. The California law says really clearly it's illegal for your employer to punish you or threaten or retaliate against you for taking these actions. For example, your employer cannot retaliate by firing you or sending you home or issuing you a pretextual write-up for something you did not do. Changing your assignment to give you less desirable tasks or shifts or cut your hours, threatening you with deportation, preventing you from getting another job. The employer must not retaliate by doing these things. If you have any questions on this topic, please contact my office for free consultation. Please be sure to like and subscribe and turn on your notification.